Amber, a teaching artist with Metau Arts, a nonprofit out of Twist, Washington. Today I'm in my studio and we're going to be doing a painting inspired by Paul Klee, who was a famous artist. And he painted this painting called the Goldfish in 1925. And he used different kinds of paints to try to get things to glow. So this is like watercolor and oil paints. And so today I thought we could simply do a painting with crayons and watercolor and try to make kind of a glowing rainbow trout inspired fish. So for this project, all you're going to need is your watercolor set with water and a paintbrush. Watercolor paper if you have it, or any kind of paper will do. And that's it. So go ahead and gather those materials and we'll get started painting our own golden fish. So I have my watercolor paper, I have my crayons, my watercolors, a paper towel, and some water and a brush. So let's first draw our fish. You can use a black, gray, blue crayon, whatever you want to outline the fish, but we're going to do our fish in the middle and then add some embellishments. So let's do kind of a take on a rainbow trout here. So we want a nice shallow curved line. We're going to leave room for the tail over here. This will be the mouth. And then we'll do the reverse. Kind of looks like an eye shape. And then back here we're going to put the tail. So we'll go up like this. And at any point, if I go too fast, you can pause me. There's going to be our tail. And then over here, let's put our mouth. So it's going to have a little bit of an open mouth, like that. So we have our mouth and our tail. Let's go ahead and double line these fish lips. And let's put this fin up top. There's another one. This one's more squarish. This one's rounded. This one's also squarish. And then the bottom ones here are kind of below the top fin, and we curve it. We hook up and then back to the body. And then we can do another one that's kind of behind it, like that. So let's find our eyeball. Let's put an eye, fish eye there. And then I'm going to come up from the mouth and do a couple of gills. And then bring that line down. And let's add some little dots. My crayon up here. Just a few with whatever color crayon you're using. And maybe we'll put some lines in all of these. Okay, basic, kind of like a rainbow trout fish. And then I'm going to grab a bright color crayon, a yellow. Remember Paul Klee's golden fish? We're going to make this fish glow. So we're going to actually start with a really light color. And I'm just going to kind of scribble in yellow all throughout this fish. We'll be adding some green and pink as well for more of a rainbow trout effect. But this under layer of yellow will help our fish really glow. So depending on what kind of paper you use will depend on the pressure. I have actual watercolor paper, so I'm kind of pushing hard. You just don't want to rip your paper, right? So, okay. So there's still a lot of white spots, which is fine, but I've got the base kind of covered with yellow. Then I'll go ahead and use maybe a lighter green, put some light green down here, maybe some in the tail, up top. We're layering crayon. And then I'll use my pink. Rainbow trout have that like nice pink band in the middle. So I'm going over this yellow, and it kind of goes into those gills. Just trying to make a bright fish so it'll really glow in the dark. And then if you have another darker green, we can use the darker green. Put some more green in the tail maybe, and maybe on those fish lips. You just want every part of your fish colored in as best you can. I'm going to go back to the yellow real quick and fill in my little gaps. So that's our rainbow trout. Then we're going to need some fun squiggles and maybe some grass in our river. So you can use your green, make some underwater plants, just some scribbles that come up from the bottom. I'm going to go back to a blue color. Oops. Let's add some like wavy lines so we know our fish is swimming in the water. You can make them double. Remember Paul Klee's art had a lot of like squiggles in it. So I'm just going to come through here, make all sorts of squiggles. Fun little squiggles. You can also do this with white crayon and it'll show up, right? I think that's good. So, first step, crayon on paper. Second step, get your watercolors ready. Move my crayons to the side. And so, we want our fish to glow. So we're going to primarily be using our black and maybe some of our blue. And I have my brush here. Remember the wet on wet technique where we use our invisible paint, which is our water first. I'm just going to paint over my fish with water, and you'll see that it kind of bubbles up because the wax is resisting this. My paper is so dry, and when I put my watercolors on here, I want it to spread out like water. So if I kind of brush my paper with water first, it'll get my paper ready for my paint. So I started from my fish, so I know where I'm going, and I'm going below my fish. I went above it, now below it. This is the invisible part. We know there's water on there, we just can't always see it. Alright, so it's basically covered. Now I'm going to wet my paint, get the black on my brush, and look at that. And I can paint right over my fish, right over my squiggles. If you scrub it too much, you'll lose your lines, so just nice and light. And if it got too thick, you can kind of move it off. You can also do this with blue. But my fish glows more if I use the dark color in the background. So I painted right over my fish. Get some more paint. Ooh. It looks like a glowing fish. I think we're successful. So this would be a really fun project to do with tropical fish or made up crazy monster fish. Alright, so here is my painting, and I'm not going to go to the edge. I kind of like this watercolor edge effect, but you can paint all the way to the edge if you'd like. But we have our art inspired by Paul Klee with our glowing rainbow trout and our dark river. Thank you so much. Hope you have fun creating more with this project, and we'll see you again next time.